Thank you. Great show today.
Thank you.
HNI University. Interesting topic. And I'm looking at the feedback forms here, and we got some pretty good themes that came through. And the first one was focus on the employee, not the benefits. And actually, this came out towards the end of the session. What do you make of that?
I think that it's easy to get caught up in all of the minutia of what you have to communicate. Oh, this is really important, and that's really important, and that's really important. And you lose sight of the fact that the person who is the employee is sitting there, and they've got a specific goal in mind. So they want to, they want to learn about like everything under the sun. They want help picking a medical plan. They don't want to learn about every last thing that there is to know about a 401k. They just want to know how much they should meet their match. So you got to remember who you're talking to and why they're there, and satisfy their goals as opposed to just making sure you cram as much information in as you can.
Some interesting comments. What were your takeaways?
I was glad to hear a couple of people with the key takeaway to have the courage to not be boring.
Yeah.
Because I actually think that's the big lesson. So boring comes in a lot of different forms. Boring comes in the form of confusing. Boring comes in the form of long and drawn out. Boring comes in the form of not interesting to me because it's not clear. So, and then of course it comes in the form of just being unwilling to take any risk to make something fun and interesting. So if people are realizing that their communication to their employees should be interesting and fascinating, there's no reason for it to be boring. It doesn't have to be boring.
Well, the story you gave about having something funny that people laugh at, but they just say, well, we can't use that here. Why not? I mean, that just seems so common.
No, it's crazy. So we, it happens all the time. We write a script for a client, and we're always injecting humor into our work. And it's not just humor that's kind of, let's insert a joke, insert a joke, insert a joke. It's humor that makes it easier to actually understand. Mm-hmm. Do you ever, on Sesame Street?
Sure.
A lot of the jokes are, they're not just like jokes off on the side, like the count.
Yep.
Yeah. He's counting.
Yes.
So it's a funny way, but you're still actually on task with what it is that you need to learn. It's what we call it as being funny on task. So, whatever, we're doing a script. We're being funny on task. It's actually helping illuminate the idea. And people laugh out loud. And then someone invariably says, gosh, that's really great. It's so funny. But we just can't do that at XYZ Corporation because, somebody might not get it. And if they don't get it, they might be put off by it. And I'm telling you, it's never anyone in the room. No one in the room is ever offended.
Right.
And then when we ask, well, who are you thinking of? Nobody can ever think of anybody. So there's this kind of oppressive minority, fictitious minority, I really think it is, that people have got this idea that there's someone who's going to be vocal and complain. But I can tell you, we've been doing this now for a lot of years, putting humor and comedy and into our communications. We have very loyal clients.
Yeah.
Because people are listening, they're paying attention. So they get, minuscule amounts of negative feedback, if any, and huge amounts of positive feedback because it's such a breath of fresh air.
Right.
So you think, what if the HR department, of all departments, could be the breath of fresh air in terms of communication and doing something that's interesting? It'd be amazing.
Right.
And speak to your idea of, shouldn't our mission be to be a great place to work?
Right. I think one of the things that I'm interested in asking this question is, we didn't quite get to this, is that once you start doing these kind of interactive communications in organizations, obviously something changes. And is it something that gets infected in the organization, starts moving throughout? What kind of experiences have you had where you've seen all of a sudden the whole culture start to change? And maybe it starts with something like this.
Well, there's sort of tactical things that definitely happen. So Comcast is one of our clients for Alex, the Jellyvision benefits counselor. And they were beating their head against the wall to try to get FSA participation on. for years. And they deployed our program, which makes it fun and interesting to understand how an FSA works, and understand like what pre-tax means, and their enrollment rate in FSA shot up 30% in 1 year.
Wow.
So in terms of changing the culture, certainly in terms of benefits, if you have people who are seeing that benefits are beneficial to them, that there is a greater gratitude toward their employer, that's an awfully good place to start.